Hi! How can we get a great vibrato? What a question. That's what everybody wants to know, and I just made a video last week about vibrato and some exercises, but let's talk about a few things that we can do off the instrument to really help us get a good understanding about how to make a good vibrato and what are the components of a good vibrato. So the first question, should I use an arm vibrato, a wrist vibrato, or a finger vibrato? What a question. We talk about that all the time, and it seems like pizza, everybody has a different idea what the best pizza is. Well, everybody has a different idea about what the vibrato is. Should it be arm, wrist, or finger vibrato? Well, to me, there's really not that much of a distinction between the three. It does have to do with where does our focus lie and where is the best place to focus when we are doing vibrato. And that to me is a very, very simple question. The focus should always be right on the fingertip, right here where the finger touches the string. Because the only thing on an instrument that really makes a sound is where we are when touching the instrument. So in other words, when our finger touches the instrument right here, that is what is going to affect the sound. And where the bow sits right here on the contact point and the hair of the bow, that is what is contacting the instrument and what is actually making the sound. The rest, all of our body has to work in tandem with that, but it is all for the purpose of being at the right place, at the right time on our instrument itself. That is where the sound is coming from. So with that in mind, when we're doing vibrato, it makes a huge difference how we touch the string. If we press the string all the way down like this, then our finger is hard on the string, so our vibrato will come and have a little bit of a harder sound, a less warm sound. The less that we actually press the finger on the string, the more warmth we can get on the string because the string is more susceptible to movement on it. When we press really hard, we get a vibrato that might sound like this. When we play a little bit lighter on the string, we get a little bit more vibrato feel and a little bit warmer sound. So that's really, really, really important to think about. In other words, when we press hard, the string is stopped all the way down. That means that it's a little cooler of a sound. When we're just warmly touching the string, then it's a little bit of a warmer sound. So it matters greatly how we touch the string. So I do a lot of thought about how do I touch my string? Where do I touch my string? If we touch next to the fingernail so the finger is very rounded and very, very, very on the end of the fingertip over there, the fingertip is harder there, so we get a little bit more of a mechanical sound. If I play a little bit more where the pad is over here, the string will kind of have a pad on top of it, and so we'll get a little bit more of a padded sound. If it feels padded, it will sound padded. So it's a little warmer if we play with our finger a little bit farther away from the fingertip and more where there's more fleshy finger there, more skin and more muscle in there, so there's less bone. The more bone, the cooler the vibrato. The less bone, the warmer the vibrato. So then if I do the same thing here, so you'll see a lot of players that play with their wrist over like this and put the fingers down almost flat. And that will get us a warmer vibrato. So how do we practice that? Well, we can play a scale with our fingers really, really rounded. And then we can play a scale with our fingers more flat. And work with that sound. Also, the speed at which our fingers attack the string can vary a lot, depending what pieces we play and what kind of sound we want. So when I play the Stamitz concerto that I did at the beginning of the video, I'm thinking very much about touching the string very slowly and with a really soft feel. So I really feel the string I feel my finger letting the string go down. Instead of hitting it down, I'm helping it down, and that makes my sound a whole bunch warmer. Like so. And you can see that my finger is down like this, and even if you look at the lines of my fingers, which I hope you can see, that they really take up my whole finger over there. Now the motion of the vibrato is really coming from my finger rolling back and forth on the string like so. Sometimes my wrist can do it like this. Sometimes my arm can do it like this. It really doesn't matter to me which one I do. It matters to me that my finger is actually rolling on the string. On my last video, I talked about how we can kind of have what I call an elliptical vibrato, where we have a very slow back here and then a faster up. So back, up, back, up, back, up. And that will get us more of a penetrating vibrato where the finger's kind of zooming towards the pitch. But the motion can be a wrist throwing this way or an arm throwing this way. It doesn't really make a difference, because if you watch my finger here, whether I'm doing this with my wrist or this with my whole arm, it's really the same. This is kind of a finger vibrato. Everything's localized at the finger. And then I can let my arm do as much or as little as I want. So how do we practice that? Well, this is a good way. We go into rest position like this. I put my finger down on the string. And usually when I start doing this, I put my finger down really rounded like this. And then I go flat. Rounded, flat. Rounded, flat. A good thing to do, you can see I'm going to knock my peg right here. So you're going to hear this. So I have my finger up, go back and knock the peg like this. Right now, I'm using my whole arm. Or I can do this with my wrist. Either way. You can do either way. I think it's really good to learn both. So you can start with any one of them. Maybe this is easier for you. Or maybe this is easier for you. Whichever one's easier, just do it that way. Because our end goal is to be able to do both, and our end goal is to have a beautiful vibrato. So I put my finger down nice and rounded. I can feel the string like that. And then I go back and up, back, up, back, up. Now I'm doing this in rest position. I'm not playing anything. I'm just really, really watching how my finger rolls back and up. And you can see my joint right here. I talked about this joint all the time, that this joint needs to be super flexible. We'll get to that in a second. So that's a very flexible joint, and I'm watching that joint go back and be flat, and then up and be totally rounded. And that's really what I'm looking for. Here's my third finger. I can do it with my second finger too. I can do it with my fourth finger. I have a nice rounded fourth finger. I go flat, rounded, flat, rounded. And I kind of just feel my finger rolling back and forth on the string, just like rolling with a ball, like that. So my fourth finger is up and back. And I practiced that for a while. Let's say you don't have your instrument with you. What can you do? Well, it's easy. I take my thumb and put it right on the line here on my palm, and then there's a little space here between my pinky bone that comes down here and my third finger, what is that? Third finger bone that comes right here. There's a little almost hole there, like a little canal. And I just put my finger there. And here's a great exercise. Thumb over here, finger here. I'm all set up like I'm playing the instrument. And I go back and up, back and up, and back and up. Right now I'm using my arm and I'm just rolling my finger along here and feeling the ease here. And then I can go a little bit faster. So I do this a lot. If I'm riding in a train or an airplane or in a car or watching TV or watching YouTube, doing whatever, I'll just, take my hand, my thumb over there, put my finger here, take each finger and work on my vibrato motion, like so. Now you can see that my first joint is very loose, and that's a real key to having good vibrato. So there's a really good exercise for that too. And that is, I take my thumb, and then I take my fingertip and put it in the middle of my thumb, just like this. Then I push down just a little bit, give some pressure, and you can see I'm bent over here, and then I'll pull my finger back like this and snap out. So in and out, and go back and forth. After you get really good at it, you can make your finger like a piece of rubber like that and do it with each finger. So back like that, snap, back, snap, and go back and forth. Even the pinky, you can see that that's in, and then I go back out. That strengthens and loosens your joints. A great, great exercise. First finger like that. Now let's just watch the vibrato one more time. And you can see, that I'm always rolling on the string just like that, and that my joint is very loose. Like that. So you can see how it works. Let me show you the other side actually. You can see that this joint right here does a lot for me. So now we have two exercises. We have, you put your thumb here and your finger down, and we roll back and forth, back, up, back, up, back, up, smoother rolling. We have that we can take the finger and go back and forth. Those two exercises to me can really, really, really change your playing. They are awesome. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you do these exercises each day and think about the vibrato. That if you play on the pad, it's warm, and if you learn how to get the motion, then it helps you a lot. And if you loosen this joint, then that's when you get that real warm, beautiful vibrato. Until I see you the next time, happy practicing!